Hey, welcome back to art class with Mr. Darby. Today we're going to be drawing rowboats out in the water, and the water is going to be peaceful, so it'll have a nice looking reflection underneath it. If we have room, we'll add a second boat, and we'll add some posts for where a dock would be so that the boats could hook up to it. Go ahead and grab your pencils and paper and let's get started. We're going to start by putting our paper horizontally. Let's go ahead and find the middle. Right below the middle, come down a little bit and make a line that's almost straight and has a little bit of curve at the bottom. Then, this is the back of the boat, okay? This is the corner that's closest to us. We're going to make the very back end of the boat first, and so we're going to kind of turn this into a check mark. Notice this is a diagonal line. And then the other side of the boat is going to come up and curve the other direction and be about the same size as the first one. Now I want to curve a line over the top and connect. Just like that. Okay, the trickiest part of this is figuring out how short or how long your boat's going to be. So what I would say is that if you put a dot out here and decide this is how long your boat's going to be, or this is how long, or this is how long, you have to imagine how big of the boat is the boat going to be. How big do you want it? If you make it too close to the back of the boat, you're going to have a very short boat, and it won't really look like a boat at all. Maybe a piece of pie. All right, so I'm going to come out and up into the corner here and put a dot. Try and get an idea of where that dot is located on your paper. Now, for the back of the boat, I'm going to put a arch again, like the back of the boat, and connect it. For this side of the boat, it's actually going to arch the opposite direction. So from this dot here, down, and then kind of back in, we can make our boat. We start up at this top corner again, and we're going to come down, and we're going to connect. So this kind of comes out, and down, and then back in. Now you're starting to see the boat come together. Let's add some details here. Let's draw another line that comes down and follows it closely as a molding that goes around the edge of this boat. This boat would probably be wooden. Okay, let's go ahead and follow the top. Now, to make the front of the boat, you actually have to use the same diagonal line as you did here. So we turn our paper and we look, here's a diagonal line. Now, let's copy it to make that front of the boat. Get as close as you can anyway. The back of the boat is wood, and it's going to follow the curve. And the next step is to add a bench. The bench is going to follow that same diagonal, or as close as possible, right in the middle between here and the front. So let's go ahead and draw a line. 1, 2. Now, we want this boat to be three-dimensional, so even the front wooden piece and the bench have to look three-dimensional. What I'd like you to do is draw a little line down, and then draw a little line over, and now it looks like this piece of wood has thickness. Let's do the same thing for this bench here in the middle. Now we can make a line from this corner going in and hiding behind the bench, and a line coming out of this bottom corner of the bench and following along the back. Now let's make the line that goes around the floor of the inside of the boat. And if you can imagine a diagonal line coming up and following this bottom corner, it's going to also follow the top edge. So it's got a little curve to it, comes up, comes out, hides underneath the bench, comes out the other side, and hides underneath the front wooden piece. Now you have a 3D boat. It looks like you can sit down in there, doesn't it? Very cool. Now we need to make our ripples in the water. I'm going to make C shapes, sort of like this, around the corners of the boat. So here's another one. All right, more like a V shape here. And then around the front, it's a backwards C shape, and it's going to follow the edge of the boat, never touching. Let's make another one. Here, here, here. Different sizes. Here, here. Okay, and then we could just keep going. Right now, though, we want to make it look like this little boat is anchored in the water. It's not going anywhere. So all you need to do is bring a line down in the water on a diagonal and give it thickness like this. And in fact, what we can do is connect the bottom of the rope with a U shape or a rounded shape. And then the same thing, backward C and forward C, almost like a J shape. Let's add another boat down here in the corner going off the page just to keep things interesting. So we can follow the same arching line like it's going off the page like this. We can make a back of a boat here, and it's coming down. That's this edge here. We can make another trim line going across the back, just like we did the top of the boat. And we can make this line following the back of the boat here. Let's add that bench now. You won't see much of the bench in this one, and that's okay. I also want to draw my line down like I did here to make it three-dimensional, and then draw that going off the edge. And remember, if I'm moving too quickly, you should pause the video. Take a good look at what I did here. It's really, even though it's not the whole boat, it's the same thing that I already have done here. So it's just repetition, which will help you get better and better. Let's go ahead and add a few posts back here, like a dock area. Right above the middle of our boat, we're going to make two vertical lines, like this, and an oval at the top, laying down. That will make the post look round. We can also make a smile at the bottom of those posts to make it look like the post is round and going in to the water. We can add our backward C shape and our forward C shape to give lines to make it look like our posts have ripples around them. Let's tip one over here. So our next post laying over, maybe somebody hit it with the boat, right? Still, they're parallel lines with an oval at the top. The smile is actually going to have to look more like a J. You can see that because of the way it's got to sit in the water. But our ripples will still be C shapes. There. And we can make another line going down here, like the first, and a couple lines for texture on our posts. There we go. Our last step is going to be to add the lines so we can make a reflection in the water. Reflection in the water. So we're going to just break these lines up a little bit. It's going to come out to match this edge of the boat. We have some implied lines for this edge of the boat. And then coming through here, We don't want to make these too perfect and smooth so they don't look like the actual boat. And there's a reflection. Our post will have a reflection straight down below it. And this one will be diagonal. And then you won't see a reflection here on this boat. You can always add grass or anything up here to the boat scene if you want to. Let's put a little line. Maybe it's the edge of the water. Some grass. There. You can add some ripples along the edge of the water. There. You can add as many ripples at this point as you want to, or you can wait until you color them. When you color the water, don't be in such a hurry that you make a mess. In fact, if you don't want to color the water neatly, one of the nice things you can use is actually some watercolor paint. It will make the job a little bit quicker. Let's go ahead and get our color pencils and we'll get started. And there you have it, a rowboat on a pond with the reflections in the water. I enjoyed drawing with you today and I look forward to drawing with you next time. But in the meantime, keep practicing because practice makes progress. I'll talk to you guys soon.